Hello guys. So for today we are going to be making some adorable dangly bee earrings. Now you are going to need a few things and I've got them all laid out here, so we're going to go ahead and start doing a top down so that you can see what you need and then we'll dive on in. Okay, so what we're going to need today is we're going to need these two little hexagonal hoops. Okay, these are optional, but these will really make this an amazing piece to be wearing. These I will link where you can get them down below on Amazon. This will be my affiliate link, so I will get a little bit of a kickback for that, just full disclosure, but that way you know which ones I got. And it's really cool because they have this awesome beveling. Can you see how pretty that is? Do you see that? So I actually didn't know this when I got these, when I picked these up, but they have this really pretty look to them. So originally I was going to cover them with yarn and crochet around them, but I love them as they are, so we're keeping them as they are. You're gonna need two earring hooks like this, okay? And then if you want a little bit of length in between the hook and the hexagon, you're also gonna need a couple of these little, they're just little rings that you'll close around to give you the height that you need. But what we want to ultimately do is we want to make sure that as we're building up our earrings, that this hook will go into your ear as so, and you want the hexagons to face forward. So we need to make sure we use enough rings to where they basically are like chains, right? Like links to a chain. So we're going to use enough to make sure that it is going to be staying forward for us. And the beauty of these earrings is that we're also going to be making them double-sided. So this is what they'll look like, just like this. And we're going to do the same design on both sides. We'll keep just the one little wing, so it'll just be a mirrored image on the other side. And then we'll basically be creating additional pieces like so. And then when you turn it over so it doesn't look like that, if it spins around, we're going to go ahead and create a second side that looks just like the front. And so if it spins inside the hexagon, it will look cute no matter what direction that it is, okay? So this is what we're making today. So what you're gonna need, all the fixings for the earrings, yes, but we also need pearl embroidery thread. I'm using these different colors here. There's a really cute pale yellow tone. You could use a vibrant yellow if that's what you've got or that's what you find. A dark brown, or you can do the striping in black, okay? So if you want to just pick up black, then you can just pick up black. I did them in brown for a softer look, but again, you can go with black on the stripes, the stinger, and on the eye details. You're going to need some white for the wing and a little bit on the eye details, and then some pink for the little cheek marks. All right, you're also going to need a pair of scissors, a pair of pliers. These are like total workbench pliers, you guys. Like, you can see how gross they look. They've done the job many times. So we're gonna use these just to help us with the fixings when we're ready to go and make those. And then of course you'll need your lace crochet hook. I use a 1.15 millimeter crochet hook. Okay, so this is a very thin-headed crochet hook here. All right, so we're going to be starting off. We just need our yellow. You can go ahead and put everything else away for now and we will get started. Okay, so what I would recommend is you cut a little tiny piece of an alternate color and use that as your stitch marker. Because pearl thread is so thin, it's difficult to use a traditional stitch marker because of how thick the stitch marker is, and it can actually just make a big bump in your work, and you don't want that every time you need to go in the round. So using just another piece of floss here is going to actually help everything work out beautifully. Nothing is going to be stretched out. So I'm just cut a little piece of the pink here, and I'm going to go ahead and give myself some slack. Get your crochet hook, and in our first row we'll be doing 6 single crochets into a magic ring. So to make your magic ring, just make your little pistol shape, wrapping from the back to the front. There's 1, 2, and I do a double magic ring, so I go around 3 times, so I should have 3 loops along the top here. I'm going to go under the first 2 loops, up and over that last loop, pulling that last loop forward to give me the A that I need. Now I slip my finger out, or my fingers out, holding on to the ring. Okay, so I've got my tension holding in the back 3 fingers here, yarning over from the back and then pulling through. That's the connecting slip stitch there, and then we'll go ahead and work into the magic ring. So going in through the center, we're going to just go ahead and crochet, yarning forward from the back, yarn over again and pull through. That's 1. Continue on, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Gently pull the tail and you'll notice one of the 2 loops starts to go in. Now grab the loop that has gone in or started to go in and pull that loop first. That will tighten the other loop. Then you take your tail and you pull that one. Okay, so it's basically creating 2 loops inside of that magic ring. That just gives it extra stability, extra security, so it's not gonna get any loosening happening over time. Now you can go ahead and place your little stitch marker thread here to mark the beginning of the next row, and make sure you're using your working yarn here. You can lay this across working around it if you'd like, or you can tuck it to the back, whatever you would prefer. But for round 2, we're going to start with 1 single crochet. So we're single crocheting in that next stitch, and this is always the hardest stitch I find to get underneath both of the little loops there. So now I'm going to go ahead and yarn over and pull forward that loop. So you should have 2 loops on your hook, yarning over again and pulling through. That's 1 single crochet. The next 2 stitches we're going to increase in each one. So we're putting 2 single crochets in each of the next 2 stitches. So we'll be increasing, okay? So here's 1 and here's the second one in that same stitch. Now we're going into the second stitch there, or rather it's the 3rd stitch in this round, and we're going to put another increase into that one. Okay, there we go. Now we're repeating that again, so we're going to do a single crochet in the next, and then we're going to increase in the last 2 stitches of this round. So we're putting 2 in each of those last 2 stitches. Okay, one more. 1 and 2. Now you can take your thread out and place it on your new loop that's on your hook currently. That will start your next round. Okay, grab your working yarn here. Starting round 3, we're going to start with 1 single crochet. Okay, and now in the next 4 stitches, you're going to increase. So increasing 4 times total in the next 4 stitches. So here's the first increase, then an increase in the next. Okay, then an increase in the 3rd one. Okay, one more increase. So this is our 4th increase here. And then you're going to repeat that pattern again. So 1 single crochet in the next, and then 4 increases. Increase all the way to the end of this round. I will meet you at the end of the round. You should end up with a total of 18 stitches by the end of this round. No, for round 4, we're going to start with 1 single crochet in the next. So here's 1 single crochet. Then you're going to do the pattern 1 single crochet, increase 4 times. Okay, so 1 single crochet in the next, and then an increase. And we'll do that a total of 4 times. So another single crochet, another increase, another single crochet, another increase, and then one more time, single crochet and an increase. Okay, now we're going to repeat that whole pattern. So we're going to start with 1 single crochet and then do the pattern single crochet and increase 4 times. Then continue doing that same thing, single crochet and then an increase until you reach the end of the round. I'll meet you back at the end. So replace your little marker there, and then we'll begin the last round, which is the 5th round. You should start off this round with 26 stitches and we'll end up with 34 total. So we're going to start with a single crochet just as we've been doing. So 1 single crochet. Next you're going to do the pattern 2 single crochets and an increase, a total of 4 times. So do 2 single crochets, 1, 2, and an increase. And that's 2 and 1 there. Okay, then we'll do that again, 2 single crochets and an increase, 2 single crochets and an increase, and then one more time, two single crochets and an increase. Now we'll repeat that pattern again. We're starting with a single crochet, so single crochet in the next, and then do the 2 single crochets and an increase 4 times. Okay, so that's the end of that. We're going to slip stitch in the next to connect and go ahead and cut away the end, leaving yourself a tail. You'll need to leave yourself a tail on 2 of these. We'll be making the same thing here, the same oval shape, a total of 4 times, okay? So the front and the back pieces for 2 different earrings. So that's a total of 4 times. You're going to go ahead and just continue making these little ovals, and you can go ahead and turn back the video so that way you can get the pattern, and you're going to end up with something that looks like this. We'll now come back and we'll work on the details of the bee. So we're going to first go ahead and make the stinger, then we'll do the stripes, and then we'll finish off with making the wing. So you're going to need to start with a slip knot on your hook using your brown or black, if you're doing black stinger and stripes, thread, okay? Next, you're going to go ahead and, if you'll notice how this is shaped, here's the end tail that we finished off with, okay? So it goes this direction, the end tail. You can do the end tail at the bottom or the top, doesn't matter, but this is the direction our oval is going in. So what we're going to be doing is picking up these stitches on the side to do the stinger. So flip it so that you've got those side stitches here. Yeah, you're going to connect it here, right in the kind of in the center area, with a single crochet. So single crochet to connect. Now single crochet in the next stitch. That gives you 2 stitches. Now chain 1 and turn your work, and then do a decrease. So we're going in, yarning over from the back, pulling forward, going into the next stitch, yarn over, pull forward. That's 3 loops on your hook, yarn over and pull through all those loops to create your little stinger here. So now go ahead and fasten off, pulling that tail through the loop. There's your little stinger right there. Head, and let's finish off this stinger by tying in these loose ends. So you'll need an embroidery needle for that with a large enough head so you can fit the pearl thread through. So you'll see this one's got a slightly bigger eye hole, and that's perfect for this little bit of a thicker thread that we're using, and it should go through easily. Now you want to keep the pointed area of your stinger, so I would go back in. If you see where the thread is coming out, rather than going down, which is going to blunt it, you're going to go back as you are tucking this in. Okay, so you're going through the stitches. This is the front side, this is the back side. So you're going in through the stitches to the back side of the bee, pull the thread through, and that kept your pointer more straight than if you'd gone the other direction. You would have had it completely rounded. So just keeping that little point there. And then go ahead and tie off in the back of the bee. So you're just picking up a stitch like so, and getting that loop, going through the loop and tying off in the back. You can do that a couple times just to really make sure it's secured. And then you're going to do the same exact thing on the other tail here. You can cut that away once you've fastened it off. That's going to go onto the inside of the bee. Since this is going to be double-sided, it allows you to have all those threads hidden on the inside of the bee, which is nice. It just gives it a more finished look than if you just left all the ends in the back like so. Then if it flipped around, that wouldn't look as cute. So that's why we're making these double-sided. So this one, it starts on the edge, so you're just going to work it down the edge here back to the back side of the bee. Again, making sure you're not jumping any brown over the yellow here. And then go ahead and tie this onto the back side of the bee. Cut that away. Now when you're doing the earrings, because these are double-sided, and we only want to have to make one stinger and one wing, just know that if you want your bees to be facing each other, that they will have the opposite details wherever the wing is. The wing is just going in between the two, but the stinger, if you want them facing each other, just keep that in mind at the start, because you'll want the stingers then to be on the outsides of the ovals, and then you'll want the stripes to be slightly to the outsides and the eyes facing each other, okay? Because you don't need to do the stinger on both sides. Otherwise, you would have a double thickness stinger, which is also fine if that's what you want, but I don't think it's necessary. I think we just really need that oval to cover up the thread on the back here. Now we're going to go ahead and do the stripes on the bee. So starting again with a slip knot on your hook. Since these are facing each other, I need to make sure that the first one goes over that magic ring, that first stripe, and then the second one goes in between the magic ring and the stinger. Where I ended this right here into that next stitch, I'm going to single crochet into the next stitch here to connect my thread. Now we're going to work up and across the bee. So you're going to go into the stitch where you see the brown coming out from, right in there, coming up onto the next row here. See, because we're going to be working across. And we're just single crocheting across along the top of the bee, going into that brown space right there, coming up along the next part of the row. You're keeping your line straight, so if you need to take your thread and just lay it across to see where you should go into next, you could do that. Going in through that center of the magic ring, and again continue along the other side till you're reached the top of your bee. So on that last end there, you can just go through to the back and do a slip stitch to connect. Snip that one away. And pull tight, and there's one of the two stripes. All right, we need to do one more stripe, so let's go ahead and pick up another thread. Starting again with a slip knot on your hook. This one's going to go right in between those two. So again, just go over a couple stitches here. So 1 and 2, and then we'll go ahead and connect our thread on that braid there around the edge using a single crochet. Make sure you're using the thread that is your working thread, not your tail. And do a single crochet to connect. Move your tail back, and then again we're working up and across, so keep an eye that you're keeping your stripe straight. That's a mouthful. Your stripe straight, going into that brown space there, coming up above, yarning over, pulling through that loop, and then yarn over and pull through to do your top. You're doing basically a top chain, but instead of a chain you're doing single crochets. That's all. It gives it a little bit of depth. You could do slip stitches if you wanted to. I just went ahead and did single crochets. So go ahead and go all the way to the end where you'll do your slip stitch to connect to the other side, and we will fasten off at the end. Okay, we've reached the end of our stripe here. So we're just going to go ahead and do a slip stitch to connect, just like that, and then cut away this tail. So the next step we need to do is make the wing, okay? So go ahead and set this aside and get your white thread. All right, we're going to start again with a double magic ring or magic ring. So I've got mine wrapped the 3 times, going under the first 2 and over the third to make my A. Pull my fingers out here, yarning over from the back and pulling through to make that slip stitch onto my rings. Now I'm going to go ahead and do 6 single crochets into the magic ring. 5 and 6. Okay, gently start pulling the tail until you see one of the loops going in, then pull that loop and then pull the tail. So that will secure it nice and tight on the inside. Now instead of continuing working in the round, we're actually going to do a chain 1 and turn. Okay, so we chain 1 and turn. Now we're going to do single crochet in the next. We're going to do 3 single crochets into the next, 3 single crochets into the next. So you're increasing, but with 3 single crochets in each of those stitches. And then just single crochet in the last 2. So what that does is it creates more of an oval, half oval shape, okay, instead of a half circle. And that will give you the height of the wing that you want, okay? And we're going to be making 1 more of those. Okay, so make sure you've got 2 wings, and then I'll meet you back and we will continue on. Okay, this is what you have now. We need to go ahead and connect the wing and tie in the ends of our stripes on one side, but we want to keep at least 1 strand of brown, just so that we can connect the 2 stripes on either side, so that way there's no gapping in between. So keep at least just 1 tail. You can always jump across on the inside of your work, so you just need 1 brown tail, and then we'll go ahead and connect the wing. The remaining brown tails can be fastened off onto the wrong side here of your work. And so when you're ready to do the back side piece, then you want to go ahead and line things up. Take a look and see where that eye is, and then guide yourself over to where you're going to want it on the other piece. And then you can take it away. So mine's going to go right about there. So I'm going to come up again, going through stitches to leave that knotted end in the back. And I'm just going to take some straight stitches here, some vertical straight stitches to get the size of the eye that I want. And then we'll come back and do some of the white details. So we're just going through, kind of going next to that other straight stitch, then go in between and connect, so that way you're covering all the yellow and making a solid circular eye. If you need to, hold it up with your other B shape here just to double check where you've done your eye placement. And that looks good to me. Perfect. Okay. So I'm just going to do another stitch or 2, and then we'll be good with the black, and we'll move on to the white. Tying off the black in the back. Clip away the tail there. Now get your white yarn or your white thread that you're using. So you want to do a little bit of a white mark right here, and then also one in the back side of the eye, okay? So you're going to come up splitting in between stitches here just to make sure you're blocking that knot in the back and that it doesn't pull forward. So I'm going to go right there. And do a couple of straight stitches over here. These are smaller. This is really just to get you that glisten mark. So take one, I would say take 2 to 3 stitches here just to get that visible. Like so. Okay, there you see that little glisten mark there. Now we're going to go through to the back, so we're just jumping across on the back here, and we'll go ahead and do our straight stitch along the back side of the eye. So we're just jumping over here and we're just doing 1 to 2 straight stitches of the white just to give a little bit of an eye marking on the back of the eye as well. All right, so we've got our little eye markings, so we can go ahead and tie off the white in the back. Okay, get your pink embroidery thread, tying it off in the back, and thread your needle. And we're doing straight stitches on the underside of the eye to make the cheek marks. So making sure again that you're splitting your stitch to keep the knot to the back so it doesn't pull through. And just go ahead and do a couple straight stitches for your cheek mark. Tie off in the back, clip it away. Now for the back side of the bees, you're just needing to do your striping, and that's it. You don't need to do the stinger and you don't need to do the wing because we're going to use those just kind of mirroring it onto the back here. So once this is over the front like so, you'll still see the stinger, you'll still see the wing. It'll just be sandwiched in between the two sides. Okay, so we just need to do the striping. And you want to try to match up your striping as best as you can. So grab your brown and starting with the slip knot on your hook, you'll connect with a single crochet. So I'm holding my 2 bee halves together here. So I'm going to look at the front, making sure the eyes are aligned, and then I'll look at the bottom and decide where I want that single crochet to go. So that's going to go right about on this one here, straight up through that magic ring to the top. And then we're just going up the rows through the center magic ring all the way to the other side, and then we'll slip stitch on the other side to finish off our stripe. Okay, so we've done that one. We're going to go ahead and do the next stripe. So I'm just lining these up so I can see where I need to go so that they match. And I've got a slip knot on my hook, and I'm just going to start right here on this stitch, and I'm doing a single crochet to connect. And we will do the same thing we just did on the other stripe. We will single crochet all the way across the stripe till we get to the end, and then we will slip stitch to finish it off. Okay, once you get to the end, you're just doing another slip stitch here to connect, like so, and fasten off. Now what we need to do is connect the two sides together. So that way we finish off our B and then we can do the fastenings. Okay, and then you're just repeating the same thing to make the other B here. So that is going to be what we're working on. So go ahead and thread your needle on your brown. We'll connect the stripes to start, and then we'll go ahead and go around the body. So align your two pieces together. All right, we're going to go through the wing with the brown. So go through the wing, okay, just like that. Okay. Now go ahead and just pick up the brown on the other side, like so. And then go back through the wing. Like so. See how we've connected it on that side? Now we're just doing the same thing. We're just picking up the brown on the other side, kind of going under the braid. So now go down to the bottom of your B, where your other side of your stripe is, keeping all these other tails out of the way. And we'll do the same thing on the other side. So we're going under the V here, kind of up through the center of the stripe. Now you're basically just whip stitching the two stripes together. So if you can kind of see that, you're gonna go and grab the other one and just take a stitch or two to connect those two stripes together. Okay, so see how you're connecting the stripes? That way it's continuous all the way around. Then go back into the center and tie off your end onto the inside of your work, hiding the knot on the inside of your work, okay? And then you can clip away that end. And this other end that was on the other side of the one that you already connected, you can just go ahead and put that onto the inside of your work and fasten that one off as well. Repeat the same process for the other stripe. All right, all those ends have been tied in. The only thing left to do now is to go around the body. So go ahead and grab your yarn needle here, or your embroidery needle, and thread it. And we're just gonna whip stitch all the way around, connecting the two sides together to finish off our B. But making sure that when you get to the stinger and the wing, you're going through the stinger and the wing as you're whip stitching, not on top of it, because you want to leave those unfinished basically, but you're just going through them. You're piercing through to the other side, picking up that other side, and then continuing on. All right, so let's do that now. So I'm going to jump across here, and because you've already connected the stripes, you can then just jump underneath the stripe. Do you see that? Jump underneath the stripe, okay? Coming up along the next yellow one. Now this is where we're going through the wing onto the other side. You can go under the V of the stitch through to the outside. Now coming back through the wing, coming underneath that other yellow stitch, V, and then pulling through. So you're still whip stitching, but you're going through the wing, okay? So now I'm going back through the wing, picking up that other stitch. Remember, there's a couple stitches in the in-between spaces between those stripes. So those are what we're fastening together right now. All right, now when we go back through the wing, we'll go ahead and come up to the next yellow space, so skipping underneath the stripe. We're probably going to do one more through the wing onto the other side here. Now you should be able to start just whip stitching it like usual, but depending on where your wing was fastened, you may need to do one more through the wing. Otherwise, you're just going out and around, whip stitching the two sides together. Okay, so once you've gone all the way around, you're going to go to the back side of the bee and you'll tie off, making sure that you catch an entire thread and don't split it, because what you're going to do is lift it up and see where there's that space underneath, and then come out somewhere else. And when you pull, as long as you've gotten that whole stitch, you should be able to tuck that knot onto the inside of the bee. Just like so. Then you can cut away that thread. And that is one completed bee. So you've got it going cute on both sides. That way if it spins, you're good to go. And then you need to go ahead and do the same thing for your other bee. So you're going to add your stripes, you'll add your eye, and then you're going to connect them together with whip stitching. And when you've finished with that, come on back and we will go ahead and do the metal fixings. So just for the ease of being able to see what we're doing here, I've gone ahead and put a white background here. So we've got our earring, our beautiful hexagonal outside piece here. So this will sit right in the middle. And then we've got one large little jump ring here and then two smaller ones, as well as our hook that will go into your earlobe. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is get our pliers. We need to attach the bee to the inside of the hexagonal fastening here. So for that, we're going to use this larger ring because it's much easier to go through the stitches with this larger fastening here. So you're going to hold up your bee and you want to just go through that initial, this second row here. You're going to go into that center space, find wherever that little gap space is so you can get your metal fastening through. If you need to, one thing I can suggest is if you need to take a little needle here and just kind of find that space underneath the braid that fits best. Just give it a little wiggle just so you can see it better. Grab the end so you have the nice bit here hanging out, and then just try to guide that through the hole, through the back, just like so. And now that you've got the ring on, you need to get this onto your hexagon. It's going to go into the inside loop. Slip this onto your inside loop like so. We need to close the ring, okay? So if you grab both sides like so and just squeeze them together with your pliers, that will start to close this gap. You basically want them just to touch each other, okay, without there being a gap. So you're just closing that gap there. Do you see that? So that's nice and closed. Okay, so now your bee should be hanging and dangling right in that center area of your hexagon. So it's hard to show you, but I can show you there. See how he's hanging in the middle? So he won't touch the bottom. He's fastened and goes right in the center there. So now that you've done that, we need to get the top part going. And in order for the hook to be facing in towards your earlobe, that's why we need these two, okay? So you're gonna get one that goes and fastens here, then one going this way, and then you'll have your hook. So that's what we're going to work on now. So grab your little guy here. This is going to go through the top loop now on your hexagon, and then go ahead and close that one as well using your pliers. So when that one is finished, and the opening is closed like this, we can grab our next small loop. If you need to open up the jump ring a little bit more than it already is, you can do that. You can space it out a little bit further. But basically we need to go through the little loop that we've already attached and through our hook that's going to go through your earlobe basically. Your little jump ring here, you're getting it onto the hexagon. Now you're going to lay over the hook for the ear, and then you need to close the jump ring without everything coming apart. So just do a quick close. If you have 2 sets of pliers, it's actually easier. I just couldn't find another set, so I'm working with the one I have here. But you just want to make sure everything is fastened and there's no gaps, otherwise it can come apart. So you're just closing all these little rings here, okay? And that's it. And there's your earring. So you're going to do that with both sides. So you've got 2 earrings here, and then we'll come back and we'll do our final reveal. So as you can see, I've got my cute little bee earrings in, and they can spin to their heart's content, and we don't have to worry about not having an adorable bee facing forward because we made them double-sided. Oh my gosh, I love them. I'm so glad that I got these beveled hexagons. I think they're so cute. What do you guys think? Well, I hope you had fun. This is the first time I've made a crochet ami sort of jewelry item. So let me know if you'd like to see more jewelry items like this in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial making our adorable little bee earrings. Don't forget, like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're let know every time I go live or make new tutorials. I've got tutorials coming out every single month, so lots of fun to be had here at Frizzy Bee Crochet. I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.